Welcome to the 31st video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, I will continue showing you how to use a few miscellaneous utilities that haven't really fit into earlier videos, but which are used often. In the last video, we saw uname, head, tail, and stat, and we didn't have time for touch. So in this video, we're going to look at touch, and if we have time, we'll look at date. Okay, let's get started. If you want to learn what touch does, ask for some help using our magic. And it says, touch, update the modified time of files. This is the busy box. And I have to tell you that BusyBox has a bug with a -D option. Don't use -D. Okay. The -T still works great. Basically, touch is designed to modify those timestamps that we saw with stat. Most of the time, the timestamp you care about is the same one you see with ls-l, which is the last modified timestamp. So, let's say I create some new file, video31 wow.txt, and I should use nano. And I put some stuff in there. Oh wow, if you have a dog. Or maybe arf arf. Depends on the country how dogs speak. But we've put some silly text in there and we save it. And when we look, we see, video 31, 1507. Video 31 wow is 1510. I want it to match video 31. And so how can I do that? What you can do is you can say touch, and then the reference file, in other words, the file that we want to be like. The reference file, where we're going to copy the timestamps from, is video 31. And then we can list one or more files. We could use a glob, but we want to modify, in this case, the video 31 wow text. And so when we do this, what's going to happen is the tool will go look at this file's modify timestamp, and then it will set this file's modify timestamp to match. And you can see they both say 1507, but if you want to see the nanoseconds, that doesn't show with a simple ls-l, so we can do a stat on video 31 star.txt, and you can see stat takes a list, and so video 31 shows this information. The one we're looking at is the modify time. Okay, that's the one we said we're going to set. So that is the one we wanted to copy, and if we take a look, it's exactly the same. So touch -R worked well. But sometimes you don't have a reference file. Sometimes you just know in your mind what you want it to be. The modified timestamp. So I told you don't use the -D option if you're using BusyBox Touch. Use the -T option. So with -T, we're going to say, I want this to be from last year on June 1st in the last minute of the day, 23:59. So I can do that. I could say 2023, and then I said June 1st, and I wanted it to be at the end of the day, 23:59. And then I don't really care about the nanoseconds or whatever. So And then I need to specify one or more file names that I'm trying to change. So if we do that, remember, if it doesn't give you any response, that means everything's okay. And instead of listing everything, let's just look at video 31 and look. I said I wanted June 1, 2023. I got June 1, 2023, but I can't see the timestamp information. One of the strange things about ls-l is if it's more than a year ago, it shows the year, but it doesn't show the rest of the timestamp. That's another reason why we love stat, because with stat, we can see the whole thing. And we are looking at the modified time. Did we get what we asked for? And yes, we did. We got it, it's going to use your local time, but we got June 1, 2023 at 23:59 and no minutes. And it's in our time zone. So wonderful. We've learned how to use the touch command to either copy the timestamp, last modified time, from one file to some other file, or we can just set the file to the number we want that we come up with. And this is, again, Western years, year, month, day, hour, minute, and you say, wait a minute. Where's the seconds? You just showed the microseconds. Well, let's go back and see. 00, and then we'll set this to 25 just to see. And it says, oh, that's an invalid date. And you say, okay, try that. That's an invalid date. So you really need to be careful with the BusyBox Touch. It's sensitive and not too smart, but it does work. And we can set our timestamps to an arbitrary value with -t, or we can use a reference value with -r. Great. What if you want to know what time is it right now? A lot of young people today don't wear a watch. And if your phone battery died, but you could still use your terminal, and you didn't remember that Windows displays it, you could ask your Unix machine, what is the date and time? And if you just type in date, it will show you a display that looks like this. Friday, July 12th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, 3:16. So maybe that format is not what you want. Can we do something else? Well, let's do what we always do. We ask for some help from the machine. And it says, oh, you can do a lot of things. A lot of computer programs don't use local time zone. They want you to be in UTC. So we can tell date, show me the UTC, Universal Coordinated Time. The previous name was Greenwich Mean Time. Military people use Zulu time, but they're all the same thing. And you can get that with -u. You can set the time only if your root, we're not going to set, we're just going to look. Some of these options, we just don't care. There are only two we really care about. -r, which will show you the format you just saw. And then you can do -i, and you can say, I want seconds, or I want nanoseconds, either one. And then they try to tell you the time formats here that they recognize. this help is better than the help for touch. I'm almost out of time, so let's do it. Date, again, date minus U shows you UTC. Okay, if you were in London, that's what time it is. And then we can do a date minus I with nanosecond, and you can see I get a much easier to parse date that you could use in a computer program with the 4-digit year, the month, the day. This T just is a separator, like we had comma separating files. They use a T, and then you've got 15, 18, and 44 seconds, and here's your fractional part, and it does tell you the time zone. Okay, we've reached the end of this video, and we did cover touch and date. I want to thank you for listening and encourage you to come back for our next video, when we'll look at something that I haven't determined yet.